Hello there, everyone. How is it going? How's your day been? Um, I hope you doing amazing. I promised that I'll be live this afternoon, so I am fulfilling the promise, and I am here to talk to you about, you know, um, a very important topic, which is autism. So my name is Ronki Moore. Most people know me as Ronki Moore. Um, and I'm here to share with you, um, who I am and also my journey. Yeah, so I will wait for let's say a few minutes for a couple of people to join, and then I will go ahead and kind of talk about what I want to talk about. So we had a session this afternoon where I discussed about, I think I was telling um, someone about things to um, things to do or look out for. Um, yeah, so um, I am not just an autism advocate. I am a mom to three amazing individuals. Um, three, two on the autism spectrum, and I know firsthand what it feels like, to be in the thick of meltdowns, confusion, exhaustion, and after your child's diagnosis. So I totally get that, and I truly, truly understand how it is. So it's really remarkable. Hi. Thank you for joining. Please let me know where you're joining from. If you don't mind, welcome. So, as an advocate and a mom of three amazing kids, two, you know, with autism, I think it's important to note that at first, at the beginning of your diagnosis, of your child's diagnosis, it's really very hard, to process that information after your doctor's report. It's something that when you receive that diagnosis, with the developmental pediatrician or with the advanced nurse practitioner, because the advanced nurse practitioner also do, they do some kind of hi, welcome, thank you for joining. Yeah, so the nurse practitioners they do some kind of assessment, and they can also diagnose kids who are living with autism. So from the time and the moment that you receive that diagnosis, things change. Your world changes. Everything changes about you. The way you see things, the way you handle things, the things you put into considerations, your advocacy, everything, every family dynamic changes, and you will think about what is going to happen to my child first, because that's the first thing people ask. I remember speaking to someone recently, I think about weeks ago, and she wasn't sure of what was going on, and she mentioned that, hey, thank you for joining. Hi, Tanya. So yes, tonight I am talking about autism, and also what happens after a parent receive their child's diagnosis. What is the way forward? Yeah, thank you for joining. Oh, hi. Pure Nigerian genetics. Oh, okay. All right. So thank you for joining, everyone. I see you, Tanya. I see you, Awesome. I see you, Long Dong Silver. Okay. So yeah, back to my story. It's really everything about you changes. The way you think changes. The way you address things changes. Everything. It changes, like I said before, your family dynamics. Thinking about what you eat, uh, hi, welcome, what you eat, how you sleep, when you go out, how you go out, where you go. Those are some of the dynamics that changes when you receive your child's diagnosis. I'm telling you, you will start thinking or start doing things like steps ahead because you want to be sure that you're doing the right thing for your child or for that family member who has been diagnosed with autism. So it's kind of hi everyone. Please let me know where you're joining from. So it's kind of it shapes you. There's a lot of things that happen in your life in the middle of things. Like I said, everything changes, and one of the things that I believe will change or has changed, I mean with me, with my experience, but some things that will change in people's or families dynamics is the way that where to go is something that you will start thinking, will my child be okay? You start asking those questions. Will my child be able to function in the future? Will he be able to work? Will he be able to marry? Will he be able to sleep alone? Will he be able to get, he or she, I'm sorry, will he or she be able to get things together like they're supposed to do? Will they be able to attend college? Will they be able to go out to do stuff on their own? Will they be independent at one point? Will they be able to talk, especially for the kids who are nonverbal? Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. Please let me know where you're joining from. So, would they be able to do a lot of things? Because, autism is a spectrum. And what it's a spectrum because the way it will appear in A or it will be present in A will be different with the way it will appear in B. So it's a spectrum also because of the level of severity depending on which level your child is. I know there's level 1, there's level 2, there's level 3. So for me, I have two individuals and I can tell you that they are two different people. And sometimes when I'm looking at my son, who's the first one that was diagnosed, and I'm looking at him like, okay, it's totally different from my daughter, who is also on the spectrum. The first and the last kid. So I'm always, thinking because I can compare. They are two individuals in their own skin. So that way, I have to handle different individuals with two different, I would say two different situations or two different. I have to come up with two different things because what applies to my son does not apply to my daughter. So those are some of the things you put into consideration, especially if you have more than one. But for someone who has one, you're thinking about many things, how the future will go. They who's gonna care for them? I think that's one of the things that family also think about, like who's gonna care for my children after I leave, or when I'm sick, or if anything happens to me. If you have a spouse, if you and your spouse, and you're thinking ahead of time. These are some of the questions that parents of autism of children living with autism, those are the constant questions that comes to their mind. Those are constant things that they are processing in their mind, in their head. Every time you see them, I'm telling you, they are always calculating. We're always thinking about, okay, what do I do when this arises? What do I do when this arises? When the behavior is popping up, what do I do? Who do I reach out if I need help? Who do I reach out? We're constantly thinking every time, constantly working. Our body is constantly working. Sometimes when you're sleeping, you're also thinking. You're thinking about, I'm wondering if, especially if your child does not eat what everyone eats, you're thinking about, okay, so what can I make for my child when he or she comes back from school? Or where can I register my child for him or her to get, to get the skills that I needed them to learn? It's a lot of things. And then adding that up on top of if you have a job, a full-time role, that on top of that, and also adding that on top every other thing. Or if you have other children like me, I have three, right? I have to put the two into consideration, and also my third child, so it's a lot of thinking, it's a lot of processing going on, with families with living with autism. So I would say that I would like to start that, autism is not the end of the world. And this is the thing, when people receive that diagnosis, everything changes, and they feel like, and they don't see the individual anymore. They begin to see autism in their child or children, and they begin to see autism, and the way they see things changes because you're seeing that autism in that child. It's like a like you're putting, once you start seeing autism, so you kind of put some kind of limits on what they can do. You don't look into their strength anymore. You begin to see the other part. You begin to see autism, what they cannot do because of autism, and then you start googling and start checking answers, and then Google and I know Google messes a lot of us up. Google will mess people up and say, hey, Google, they will say, oh, your child cannot do this, your child cannot do that, not knowing that when you put in the work and you are able to advocate for your child can achieve many, many things. And I'm a testimony to that. So, when Daniel was younger, that was one of the things I was thinking about when he was younger about, oh, how is Daniel going to be in the future? Is he going to be okay? Is he going to be normal? Like we say normal in what context? What do I mean by normal? Is it going to be normal? Every kid is normal. Every child is normal. It's just that they see things a different way, like a typical kid, right? So I thought about that, like, oh my gosh, how is he gonna function? How is life gonna be when it grows up, when it turns 5? Those milestones, right? When it turns 5, when it turns 10, when it goes to middle school, when it goes to high school. Then I started thinking about a lot of things, and this applies to all parents with special needs children. So, and then in the middle of it all, I was totally lost thinking about, okay, what do I need to do? Right? I had more questions. I questioned everything. Anytime I see my son do something, then I'm thinking in my mind, oh my gosh, is this what is going to happen to him in the future? Is this what's going to happen to him in the future? So that kind of like bring me to what I'm about to share, tonight, that I'm telling you, their help exists everywhere. And when I mean help, you put in the work. You said it takes a village to raise a child. You have your community with you who can help support and bring your dream, or make your dream come true. And of course, I'm a faith person. God is there with you, right? And also, you do not. I had that the power of therapy. When I came up this afternoon, I had someone. It was a question Q&A session, and I had someone, what she, if she has any question, and she asked me if ABA therapy works. And I really had to like deep dive and tell her about my professional experience as a registered behavior technician, and share with her that ABA definitely works. And I believe that she truly understands, that's from a professional standpoint, that ABA truly works if you put in the work. So the power of therapy is really amazing. When you have your child or register or in therapy for a longer time, for years, you will begin to see the results. You begin to see great things that they do. And when I'm talking about therapies, I'm talking about independence, learning independent skills, learning how to communicate. Either they're using their voices, they're using their words, or they're using PEC system to communicate, or they are using an AAC device, which is an augmentative augmentative alternative communication. Either they're using that to communicate one way or the other. They're sending messages, and you do understand what they're talking about, right? So either your child uses any form of communication, I will tell you that therapies do work. Does it take time? Yes, it does take time, but you have to, when you have those therapies going on, you also have to put in the work on your own, from your own hand, because if you put in the work, that is how you're able to see quick results, and also be able to be on top of everything that you feel your child is not doing. So I would like to share that when Daniel was younger, I know that with kids with living with autism, some skills can be very difficult. What we see, some things that comes very natural to typical kids, like button their shirt or zipping their shirt, does not come that easy to children living with autism. So when he was younger, I was thinking that how is he going to do that, because most of the kids living with autism too, there's something that I notice about them. They have low muscle tone. So they are unable to zip up or use their fingers or their pincher grips, grabs. That's what we call pincher grabs. They're unable to use the pincher grabs, which is what they use to either for buttons. Because if you need to put in a button, you have to really use your fingers. So they have difficulties doing that. And I was thinking in my head when Daniel was younger that how am I going to teach that? How is he going to learn how to button or unbutton? And then we had a therapy at that point who came in and was very helpful, super helpful about teaching him how to button a shirt, and he's been doing it for as long as I can remember. I think it's more than 6, 7 years that he's been buttoning his shirt. Those things that typical kids can, you just be like, they can do it. Kids with autism, they struggle with a couple of things like that. So we literally have to teach buttons, we have to teach zipping, we have to teach claps, we have to teach grooming. There's a lot of things that you have to teach, and for every milestone that they attain, for every milestone that they achieve, you have to literally be on top, so that when your child grows up, they are independent enough to carry out some of the skills. Because what I've noticed is, for some of the adults that I've seen in the past, they when they are unable to do some of the skills is because they were not taught. It's because, and I know parents, generally parents, we tend to do that. We tend to help our children to say, hey, I'm just gonna help you to, for because you want to be fast, or probably you're going out, you want to do things really fast for them so that it will cut the time off, or it will cut the time short. So you want to help them do a lot of things, while you are heading out, because you want them to, you want to be fast about whatever you're doing and then move on. But sometimes you really have to take it slow and see them perform some of these actions and see them do some of these things, like as simple as tying their shoes, right? You want to take time for them to learn that, such that, so that may probably be that they will be learning to tie their shoelaces. They will have enough time to tie their shoelace before everyone else is ready to go out, instead of doing it for them. I really have seen people where parents are doing everything. Number one, apart from the fact that it's draining, it does not help that individual, because you're working towards independence, and you doing that for them is not kind of helpful. So, hi, please let me know where you are joining from. So it's not kind of helpful when you see that. So that is something to keep in mind, that when you have a lot of questions going on your mind with your child after an autism diagnosis, those are some of the things that you have to process. Those are some of the things, the thinking that goes into work. Those are some of the things that you constantly think about. How is my son gonna do in the future? Are they gonna be is therapy going to work for them? Are they going to be able to brush their teeth? Are they able to wipe themselves? Are they going to be potty trained? Even as, potty training, that's another topic. That's another topic on its own. So, that's something to, if you have, so I'll come back to what I'm talking about if you have someone who have a new diagnosis and they are wondering, what do I do? I don't know where to go. I'm lost here, because I was in that position years back, about 12 years ago, thinking, no, about 10 years ago, because my son is 12 now, about 10 years ago, thinking that, oh my gosh, where do I even start from? Where do I start from? If that is what questions you are, that's going on your mind right now, or you have someone in your family, or you know of someone or another person who is also going through the same thing, or who's not even sure, they probably, or who's in denial, because that's another topic on its own. I will come here, as time permits, to talk about so many things about, denial and other topics like that. But those are some of the things that you see if you find someone, or you know someone going through one thing or the other. They do not know, they're lost. They are trying to figure things out. Even for those who are already walking the journey, I will tell you that we're constantly learning. We are learning new things. We are finding, most times, I'm lost. I'm like, oh my gosh, is this really me after how many years of experience? But we are constantly learning. We are constantly researching. We are constantly seeking answers to a lot of things. We are constantly finding strategies that can work with our family, because one important thing is, if you find someone living with autism, you are find one person living with autism. So what does that mean? That means that no two people, and I always stress on that. And the reason is that if you see my son Daniel, he's totally different from Dara. So that is one thing that I always stress about and I talk about every time. So no two individuals are the same. But our experiences too also will be different with our individuals, right? So if you don't have, we don't have everything figured out, but you have that one person who is looking for strategies, who is looking for the way forward, thinking, okay, now that I have the diagnosis, now that my son or my child has been diagnosed, what do I do? What my next line of action? Or you're already walking the journey, or you have your kids in the elementary school, you have your kids in the middle school, and you still don't know, or you're still not sure. I will say that I have something very important, and this is due to popular opinion, right? This is due to popular opinion. This is due to popular requests. People be asking me, okay, so I know my child is doing this. What can I do? I know you have videos on your channel, but I really want to speak to you and also have that one-on-one and personalize things with you. Come up with a strategy. Come up with a plan. And I came up, one with a mentoring program, which I feel like is going to be very helpful. We're going to walk hand in hand, walk through the journey. And another thing is also a book. So I will show you the book for you to see, and I will talk about the book on, right here. Hi, please let me know where you're joining from. So here's the book that I am, talking about, that I wrote. This is from me to you. It's called Becoming Resilient: From Diagnosis to Direction, a true mom's journey to clarity and support. So that's the title of the book. That's the book that I have here for you. And I'm going to share with you that you will learn practical tips, to manage meltdown behaviors. And behaviors applies to all our children. It's not only kids with autism, all our children, especially toddlers. You know how they say terrible twos? Kids from 1 to 2, when they, at that point when they are becoming, where they become aware of themselves, you will see a lot of behaviors before they start getting it together. So this actually applies to all parents, not only parents with autism. I'm sure if you lay your hand on this book, you will find information that applies to, of course, typical and our kids living with developmental disabilities like autism. So you will find like a practical guide on what to use while you are, of course, walking the journey. You will find how to take care of yourself in there. You will find faith-based information in there. You will find one thing that I love, that I think I will make things easier, is that you will find like mini workbook at the end of each chapter. So that mini workbook will help you when you go through each information in that workbook. It will help you identify what you have done. If you're a new mom, what you need to do, how to do it, and steps. And then you're to write, okay, this is what I'm going to accomplish, and after you've accomplished it, right? And for those who are already walking the journey, you are able to see, oh, I checked this out, I've already done this, and this is what I need to work on. It's all embedded in at the end of each chapter of this book. Another thing that I know that you will also learn is that encouragement, you will find some encouragement in there. You will find how to make use of the community that you have, like respite services, how to make use of your village. You know, people that you call your village, people who knows everything, who knows you in and out, who knows about your children, who do not judge you, who understands the fact that yes, you have an event, but you can't show up because your child is having their meltdown. Who really understand and are very passionate about what you do, and they do understand what you're going through as a parent, or what your child is going through. So, how you can find that village, how you can identify them, and what you can do. Another important thing is how you can plan for the future. Remember, I talked to you about the future, how you can plan, right? Like those questions that you're constantly thinking in your head after the diagnosis, and you're trying to figure out the future of your child, even though your child is still young, right? So you're able to find what are the things that you need to do and to prepare or plan for your child's future. That is important. Now, Daniel is 12. I'm already thinking when Daniel turns 14, what am I going to do? I'm already thinking in my head, okay, it's still in the middle school. What is going to happen at the beginning of high school? What are the skills that I want him to learn to prepare him when he's out of high school at 21? So, those are some of the things that is in this book. And I tell you, like I said before, this information is good for families who are walking the journey, who are starting the journey newly, and families of typical children. Because trust me, you will find something that is very that will be helpful for your child, and for a family member. So now, if you're ready to replace your overwhelm or your questions or your how do I say it now? What other word? Your overwhelm, your questions, your difficulties, your constant question, trying to figure things out with confidence. I will suggest that you go ahead and get this book, for yourself, for family member, for anyone that you know, because I'm sure of what is in the book, because that book was written by me. So if you are able to, if you get a book, those are some of the information that you'll find there, and I have lots more, that you find very helpful in this book. And I would suggest, if you are looking forward to getting the book, you will find it on my stores. I have one on my profile. I have the Stan Store. I have the book on Stan Store. I have the physical book. I have it on Amazon. If you need to check Amazon, please go ahead. If you need me to put the picture of the book right here again, you can find it here. Yeah, that's the book right there. So, Becoming Resilient. Yeah, that's the book right here. Um, excuse me. You can also find it on Gumroad, which is not a that's one of the website that I have. If you're able to find it on Gumroad and Stan Store, those are the places that you can find my book. And please let me know if you have any question for me right here. Right now, I am more than happy to answer your questions. And please feel free to share. If I know I said a lot of information tonight, and I will say that thank you so much for joining, for being on this live. I really appreciate your presence, and I hope that you're able to find one of anything that you might find helpful from whatever I've said. I think you'll find, I'm glad that you're here and you're able to pick one or two things. So as we prepare to leave this live, I have some upcoming video that I already planned out, ranging from signs to look out for, because signs are, for every child there are different signs. So some things you're able to pick early, some you pick later in life or as your child grows. So I will share that video when it's ready. And please feel free to like, share, subscribe if you are not if you're not a subscriber yet. Please do well by subscribing to this channel so that you don't miss out on any of my new videos. When I come on live, you are able to get information when Rinkimo is live. And I would say on this note, thank you for being part once again. Know one thing, that you are not alone on this journey, right? You are not alone. I am here. We are working it together, working side by side, working hand by hand, together on this journey. And I pray all is well with you and your family. And I hope and I pray that you have a good night. For questions, for concerns, please feel free to reach out. I have my email on my profile, on the channel. If you need to reach out for anything whatsoever, please feel free, go ahead and do that. And I will be more than happy to come back, and I will see you soon. All right. Thank you. Bye bye.